Greek ICT company. It's called IMC Technologies. And I have to say, I really loved your keynote. It was probably the best one I have watched personally. And the reason for that was that you focused on what I also share, that I also believe is important, the social part. And may I dare say, your keynote was also, in a way, political, speaking about liberty and so on. So, what I wanted to ask you was whether you would care to comment on the potential of using the web for distributed decision-making, which is my field, and by asking this question, I would like to shed some light on it. Thank you.
Distributed decision-making. Well, okay, I could talk for another half an hour, because it's, yes, music to my ears. I guess there have been two quests of humankind since humankind started to actually talk at all. Through the eras, they have been collectively, what do we believe? And collectively, what do we do? So yeah, distributed decision-making. It has been collective decision-making when we had little collective groups. But now we have the world, we have a connected world. And so what's interesting is how do we move from the decision-making processes, which are still largely governed by the hierarchical system which was derived from the geographical system. So we generally, when we vote for an area in which we are of various different sizes. And so we vote for Lyon, we vote for Rhône, we vote for France or Europe. And so that we have these structures in which we do our decision-making, which are hierarchical. Now, surely the engineer in me thinks if you take away the requirement that that you should have that hierarchy, and you allow any person to connect to any other person as an arbitrary graph, surely we must be able to make a graph which is more efficient. So we should be able to build systems in which we don't connect in that same old fashion. We just connect in different systems. Well, in a way, the rise of the high-level multi-stakeholder systems, like WWC exists as an independent thing, which has rules about how it has to be fair, and it will talk to countries, and it will talk to companies, and it will talk to individuals, and it will treat all the ideas the same. We don't vote. On a good day, it's the ideas that count. And so WWC sits there apart from this. And WWC works with the IETF and with ISOC and with other organizations. So what is happening to a certain extent at a high level is that we're understanding how to use the importance of multi-stakeholder organizations. But we're not very sophisticated. We haven't done a lot of research about how they work. Then on a low level, one of the things that I've suggested is that, I know that the sort of depressing results that when you put somebody online, you give them an online game, and they can play a multiplayer online game with anybody else in the world. They can go and shoot anybody else in the world. Who do they choose to go shooting with? The guy next door. Right? So that was a famous result. Somebody fill in the reference afterwards in the transcript. But given that result, okay, people do not naturally go and break these boundaries. So what do we have? So one other thing I suggested is the idea of a stretch friend. That when your social networking site, you go to your social networking site and it says, hey, welcome. Guess what? Lots of things have happened today. And can I suggest, by the way, here are 10 new people you might like to know as friends. And when you look at them, there are 10 new suggested friends, and you have 81 mutual friends with this person, 21 mutual friends. These people are people who are very, very close to you in the graph. These are all friends of friends. The system has noticed, say, these are friends of friends, so then they should maybe be friends of yours. Well, of course, that doesn't actually necessarily apply. But it means that if I do follow all these examples, I will make my social graph very solid. I'll make sure that everybody who's a friend of a friend is also a friend of mine. Whoop. I become totally connected to a group with one culture and one mindset. I become very impregnable to the ideas of other people. So I suggest that your social networking sites should suggest a stretch friend. In America, when you apply to colleges, people talk about having a sort of match college, which is the sort of one I expect I'd probably get into, a safety college, which is I'll apply to just in case my grades come out really bad, And a stretch college, which if my grades come out really well, maybe I'd even get in there. And a stretch friend is a friend where this is going to be a little bit of a stretch for you, but it's just like all the people you know, except that they're a different colour. Or it's just like all the people you know, except for they're a different religion. Or except for, just like all the people you know, except you're a computer scientist and they're a sociologist. Or just like all the people that you work with, except this is a woman. So, and very importantly, of course, just like all the people you know, but they are the equivalent people on the other side of this, in another Middle Eastern country, which is sworn to destroy your Middle Eastern country, for example. So stretch friends, then if you're supposed to introduce stretch friends as a microscopic protocol, what's the macroscopic effect? Would just introducing something like that, in fact, suddenly create a little extra piece of understanding between people, which would actually tone down the amount of aggression, would actually lead people to do more research, actually lead citizens to become much more understanding about the cultures. There was research that when most of America shifted towards Barack Obama, everybody shifted towards Barack Obama, except for particular groups in rural America in Kansas. And analysis there was the people who didn't shift towards Barack Obama at all were the people who could never imagine having a black person as president. And the people who could never imagine having a black person as president were the people who were very strong correlation with the people who had never, ever worked or lived with somebody of a different race. There's not very many of them, but so let's break it. So all they need is a stretch friend. So I think a stretch friend is an idea. I think we should do research. I think that it's great that when people like Wikipedia are creating new systems, new democratic systems, new meritocratic systems all the time. Some of those might turn out to be very, very effective. So we might have 1,000 flowers blooming, and one of those flowers may turn out to be a really nice system of self-governance. Yes, it would be great if they were more distributed, but you do need to have some form of meritocracy. You have to have some form of delegation. How we set the balance of delegation and sort of an election or direct participation, I think are really exciting things. But it's all open, and it's, I think it's a great area of research, and we should be doing a lot of it. And I think that it's also, the only thing which will actually allow us to save ourselves from ourselves.
Thank you, Tim.
So, okay, good question.